Hi there, welcome to Summer Scribble Studio. Today I have a really big box with me. It's too big to even fit in my frame. And the packaging is always so cute. It's from Scholar Stationery and I really like how they say, I have arrived and your box of happiness made with love. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to be opening this for you. This is one of their latest products and I cannot wait to show you what it is. Okay, that's one, that's two, and that's three. But what is it? This is their latest watercolor hot pressed pad. Premium European paper, thick but lightweight, recommended for artists using watercolor, gouache, acrylic, ink, drawing and mixed media. We're going to be trying all of this on this paper, okay? Resistant to repeated erasures. Oh wow, that's cool. Capable of showcasing a brighter range of colors. Okay. It's acid-free, pH neutral, age-resistant, brighter color output and smooth surface. So hot press paper usually has a smooth surface. I also have their regular cold press watercolor paper, so we can do a quick comparison between that. And yeah, it's 300 GSM. So this is the A4 size. This is the A5. And this huge one is the A3. So we'll try out this paper and we'll see what works best on it and what we can do with it. So to give you a quick comparison between their hot press paper and their cold press paper, this is something that I have been using for a while now, and I'll just show you what the texture of the paper is like. Can you see that? It's got these little grooves and this texture is really quite prominent. I would place it somewhere between a cold press and a rough paper. It's really good for when you want to do landscape, when you want to do abstract work. Their hot press paper pad, on the other hand, is... Can you see any texture? No, right? Because it's really smooth. It's really smooth. It's meant for different kinds of mediums. Let me show you both together so you can see a difference. Now that I've shown you the difference, I'll go ahead and show you what kind of mediums work best on the hot pressed watercolor paper pad. I'm going to start off with testing the supplies that I wouldn't use on a very textured paper because the tips could get damaged. This, for example, it has a felt tip nib, and if I use it on a very textured paper, it could get damaged. But on a hot press paper, it's relatively fine. Yeah, it's really smooth. It doesn't have too much resistance, so it will not really damage your tip. It's really smooth on this paper. The next thing I'm going to try is a pencil, and the reason I'm trying a pencil is because they mentioned that it is resistant to repeated erasure. Yeah, it was written on their cover. So I'm just going to color with a pencil, and let's make one side like really dark so that we can see how much it actually erases. It's really smooth enough for a pencil too. You can easily work on it if you're doing portraits, if you're doing something with a pencil. Because it's so smooth, you can even smudge it easily. Wow, it's really good for pencil, guys. I'm also going to try a little color pencil on it just to check it out. So hot press paper is really smooth, because of which you can do something that is very detailed. For example, you can start off with a watercolor wash and then make details on top of it with a color pencil or a thin brush. It's really smooth for a color pencil. You can try this out easily. Something like botanical illustration, for example, would be really awesome on hot press paper. So now let's try to erase them. I'm not very sure if this color pencil is erasable, but we'll try with the regular pencil anyway. So I'm using a tiny eraser and I'm just going to try and erase. Oh wow, it erased so well. And I barely applied any pressure. Let me try a little harder eraser just to see if that makes a difference. So on a regular sheet, if I would have tried with this much pressure, it would have easily torn. But this is quite good for pencil art. I did press a little hard, so there is a bit of mark left of the pencil. But even then, the paper hasn't torn even with this much of pressure, so that's something that really impresses me. Oh, even the color pencil has erased to a certain extent. So that's good. If you're someone who works with pencils with charcoal a lot, this erasing may be something that is really useful to you. Now let's try a brush pen. Even brush pens require smooth paper because otherwise the tip could get damaged. Oh wow, you guys who like calligraphy, this is going to be something that's really good for you. Wow, it was really smooth on this paper. So yeah, brush pens definitely work on this. Now let's try a dip pen. So dip pens also require paper that is smooth because it could damage the tip otherwise. And when you're drawing, the paper fibers could come into the tip. So let's try and see how this works. I'm not really a calligraphy artist, so don't expect me to do something great. I'm just doing some swirls here just to see how the strokes work. Okay, it's really smooth. There's barely any resistance even when I'm doing an upstroke. So those of you who want to try those, there's a watercolor background and then there's a nice coat which you do with a brush pen or a dip pen. This would be really amazing for that. I wouldn't use this pen on cold press watercolor paper because it usually gets damaged. I don't want that to happen. Okay, now I'm trying a pen that has a fine tip, and this is even thinner and more delicate than the pigment liner that we had. So I definitely will not use this on cold press paper, but on this it works perfectly. It's really good if you want to try something like a line and wash illustration. This paper is really good for that. Okay, now since it's a watercolor paper, let's move on to watercolors. So I'm just going to be using my artist grade watercolors. That is, I have some by Mugello. I'll do one thing. I'll first make a little area wet so that I can see how much it spreads. It usually doesn't spread too much on cold press paper, but on hot press paper, because the paper offers no much resistance, it's supposed to be spreading a lot. So let's try that out. Take some glue and just drop it in. Okay, wow, it's spreading beautifully. It usually doesn't spread this much on cold press paper. When you do landscapes on hot press paper, it really has a different effect, especially when you do clouds, because your sky will look really, the clouds look much more defined when you do it on hot press paper than cold pressed. Let's also try a regular wash. So this side of the paper is dry. And just for some fun, I'm also going to drop in a bit of color here just to see how that. This is something that I really like about hot press paper. So when you add water to a surface, it can create beautiful blooms. That's an effect that I personally like, and I find it really interesting when I do watercolor illustrations. So that is artist watercolor. Let's also try something with student grade watercolors. So I have this set here. I'll try the same things that I tried with the artist grade one. This is a wet wash. The difference between these two is that the student grade one has less pigment, more fillers, But apart from that, they're usually quite, this one's also quite vibrant. It doesn't really have a problem there. This spreads so beautifully. And yeah, obviously it's not light fast. Please don't use this for work that you intend to sell. I would put student grade watercolor somewhere in between the artist watercolor and the gouache because it's also quite opaque. Let's try the same thing here. Let's add in the blooms. Perfect. Now let's move on to gouache. So for gouache, what I normally do is I have a little plate here. I'll put a drop of gouache in that. And let's just dilute it a bit and try it on. So hot press paper is amazing for gouache, guys. It's really good because you can build multiple layers on it and the texture doesn't show through much. So if you want that really flat illustration technique, it works perfectly with the hot press paper. And the best thing about this is if you don't have watercolors and you only have gouache, just add a little more water and you can use it just like you do your watercolors. So I'm making this area a little wet and I'm dropping in some of my diluted gouache. Do you see the difference in how these three reacted? They all are water soluble mediums, but they all react in absolutely different ways. Okay, now let's try some ink. I have some photo color here. I'm going to drop that too into my palette. Again, let's wet one area and see how much it spreads. Ink spreads a lot more than watercolors will, and it's really beautiful to see how it spreads. Since the paper texture is not very visible, your colors will appear a little more flat than they would on cold press paper. So if you're aiming for that kind of an effect, hot press paper is amazing for that. Wow, and the color is so vibrant on this. Hot press paper is also really good if you're going to be scanning your artwork because the paper texture will not affect the scan. Okay, now let's try acrylics. Acrylics also I'll put a little bit into my palette. And I'm using a different brush for my acrylics and my water-based mediums because I don't want to ruin it. Let's mix a little bit of water and paint. Oh wow, this is really smooth. Okay, so if you want to, I can already imagine painting acrylics on this. If you want to create something that has, say, a really flat background, you don't want too much of texture on it, this is perfect. It'll look really flat and nice. But also if you want to create, if you don't have watercolors for example and you want to create that kind of an effect, you can dilute your acrylics and use it that way. The only difference is that you won't be able to reactivate it once it is dry, but you can have really nice effects even with acrylics. As I said, hot press paper is something that's really good for detailed illustrations. I wouldn't really do, very detailed, very loose abstract landscapes on this because it's meant more for detailed work. So for example, if you're doing a line and wash illustration or something of that sort, very good. It's really good for that. I also want to try out a Oh wow, I dropped a bit of ink there. I have a watercolor pencil. So this is also something I wouldn't normally use on cold press paper, but let's try it out here. I just realized everything else is like blue and this is the only thing that is pink. But never mind, let's just try it out. So you can make really fine lines. So if you do something with watercolor and then do the detail work with this pencil, it'll be really good. I'm just testing it out right now. I haven't really used hot press paper much, but I have used it for a couple of line and wash illustrations because I find that really nice to work with. I'm just taking a bit of water and let's see how much it can. Oh wow, I can barely see the lines anymore. It's easy to activate the paint when it's on hot press paper, the pigments when it's on hot press paper. So if you're using watercolor pencils, this paper is really good for that. It dissolved almost every single pencil line. This is really amazing. Okay, I think I tried out all the mediums that I had to, and yes, all of these worked amazing on hot press paper. As you can see, when you do watercolors on this, you'll get a really hard edge. You won't get that soft diffused edge that you get on a rough paper. So this is perfect for, as I said, it's perfect for details, it's perfect for work that requires a lot of intricacy. So that was my review of the Scholar Store watercolor hot pressed pad. If you try it out, please do let me know what you think of it. I'd be really glad to see your artwork on this paper. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you like this video. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye!